Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you live during the Rangers game. It's top of the ninth right now. Rangers will have their final crack at it. We'll bring you the top of the ninth inning. It's not looking good for the Rangers. They currently trail 6-3 after leading 3-1 in this one. Rangers have the top of the order coming back. Let's see if they can make it a little bit interesting. We'll break down all the key moments, the scoring, the highlights. We'll go through the box score, all that good stuff in just a little bit. Of course, here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a little bit of an extra emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you for joining us tonight. Wish it could be under better conditions. Rangers looking for a little ninth inning rally here. Marcus Semien currently up to bat. Looks like he's worked a 3-2 count. We'll see if he can reach base. We'll go ahead and we'll start breaking things down for you here in this one. So Mike Lorenzen, let's talk him. Lorenzen had a very outstanding start today. Lorenzen goes 5 innings, 5 hits allowed, left the game with only 1 earned run, but eventually after Jacob Latz came in and took over, a second earned run was credited to Lorenzen. Lorenzen also struck out 5 tonight, which is a little bit unusual for him. You normally don't see the strikeouts match the innings pitched when it comes to Lorenzen. Usually a pitch to contact type guy, right? So Lorenzen today, I really felt like he was dealing 6 base runners in 5 innings. And in the 6th inning there, I think it's kind of a tough spot. You really don't want, if you're the Rangers coaching staff, I can't imagine that you want Robertson, Leclerc, Yates going multiple innings here as Marcus Semien flies out to center field, 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. Can't imagine that you want Robertson, Yates, or Leclerc to go multiple innings there. I think ideally you do have somebody that can bridge the 6th. You go Leclerc in the 7th, you go Robertson 8th, you go Yates 9th. I think that was going to be the plan all along. Latz has been as good of a reliever as any for the Rangers. If we looked at his stats, and I actually just sang his praises the other day, if you look at his last 7 games, it's not going to be too pretty thanks to the grand slam. But I will say this, coming into this game, he had, let me see when the last time he had allowed an earned run was. So last time Latz had allowed an earned run, you have to go back to May 29th. He had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight appearances without giving up an earned run before the grand slam tonight. I mean, I don't know who else. What I'm trying to say is, I don't know who else you want there besides Jacob Latz. I don't know who else you would rather have in that moment. Jacob Latz was a guy coming into this game that had not given up a run in 8 straight appearances. He's pitched against lefties and righties equally well. You had Christian Yelich coming up. It's unfortunate Latz kind of soils the bed there. There's no other way to put it. You come in, you walk 2, and even on the 3-2 counts, the pitches weren't competitive. You had dirt balls. It just didn't look like he was really on today. Just wasn't Latz's day, and that is going to happen. We've had games where Robertson comes in and blows the game. I feel like this truly is one of those moments where you can sit here and say, the Rangers put their best foot forward. By the way, a lot of people, I don't know if some people just don't know the rules, but, you know, Latz did have to face 3 batters. It's a 3-batter minimum there. A lot of Rangers fans online, why aren't you taking him out after the 2nd walk? Because you can't. It's against the rules. You have to face a minimum of 3 batters when you come into a baseball game in relief. Duh. That's been a rule. So I didn't really understand the people that were so frustrated there. Kind of like you don't watch too much baseball. And I don't like to be baseball snob guy. Clearly, I watch a lot of baseball. Don't know everything, but I do know the rules of the game for the most part. Jacob Latz had to face 3 batters in that inning. So even after the first 2 walks, he's got to face that Rhys Hoskins who hits the grand slam. It is what it is. We threw our best, in my opinion. Jacob Latz hadn't given up an earned run in 8 outings. He was a fine guy to throw there. It is what it is. It really, really sucks, though. It had to come in that spot. Looked like the Rangers were pushing towards stealing a game here in Milwaukee. Whenever you can steal the first game of a series against a superior opponent, especially on the road, that is very much ideal. Then you set yourself up. You just got to win one of the next 2. And this was a game I think the Rangers could have stolen. Was not meant to be. I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time second-guessing the decision. I mean, the only other thing you maybe could have considered doing there in that spot is going Leclerc for multiple innings. And I don't think that they wanted to do that. I'm not a big Leclerc multi-inning fan. It seems like almost every time Leclerc can go ahead and get the first inning, breeze through it, and then we get to that second inning, and it starts getting messy. So I'm not a big fan of Leclerc multiple innings. I mean, beyond that, I don't really know what else you're expecting Bruce Bochy, Mike Maddox to do there. Latz hadn't given up a run in 8 outings, just had an off night. It's kind of like when Robertson blows games. We threw our best. It didn't work. Yes, the bats, which we're going to get to in a second, did not come to play today. The top of the order had a nice game. Seager, Semien, Garcia, but we did not have the timely hits when we needed it. Josh Smith, 2 walks tonight, but a little bit of an off night for Josh Smith. A little bit of an off night for him. Nate Lowe's having a tough night as well. By the way, Seager struck out 2 outs. Josh Smith was hit by a pitch. And now we've got Doli up to bat at this point, and he's in a 1-2 count right now. Josh Smith advanced to second on defensive indifference, so we'll see what happens here. Doli just struck out to end the game. So Rangers lose this one 6-3, unfortunately. Game that the Rangers could have won, but they did not take advantage of the opportunities that they were presented with. And unfortunately, we'll take the L in this one. We'll break it all down more here in a little bit. Let me check comments here. Eric, what's up, buddy? Yeah, the only thing that it's funny, I think we're in literally the same boat, my friend. When I saw that the Mariners lost after the grand slam was hit by Rhys Hoskins to put the Brewers up in this one, I said, well, at least the Mariners lost. Yeah, I mean, you just have to start scoreboard watching naturally when your team loses. So we'll check on the AL West. We'll do our AL West roundup here. But, yep, Mariners lose. Rangers lose. Don't know what the Astros did tonight. We'll get there in a little bit. We'll get to all the comments in order here. Why not? And then we'll get back to Rangers box score. Do you think Rizzo will be forced to retire after his injury? I think Rizzo was already a little bit on the back nine, if you know what I mean. I really don't think Rizzo is in his prime anymore. I don't know about forced to retire. Do I think that the Yankees may try and replace him? Yes, I think the Yankees will absolutely be looking for somebody. I don't think you can keep counting on Rizzo to be a huge producer year after year at this point in his career, especially with the injury. What's up, Jace? Yes, I saw that. Just got updates on my phone. Did not watch any of the national championship game, but look forward to seeing the highlights. I've been keeping up a little bit. It seems like it's been a great series. A&M, Tennessee. A&M comes up just short. Congrats to Tennessee, national champions, College World Series. Gotta love it. Are the Cubs making the playoffs? We'll have to see on that one. It is a long season. You know, honestly, you never know what can happen. And the NL Central is a really, really tough division. So in the NL Central right now, Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs are in third place, 2 games out of a wild card spot. I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for the Cubs to make the playoffs. You've got the NL West. You got some good teams out there, the Padres. Even in the NL East, you've got some good teams. If you had to put me on the spot right now, I'm going to say no. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but I just think there's too many good teams. Padres, I'm going to say yes on the Padres. Although we'll see with how long Fernando Tatis is out. We'll see if Padres make the playoffs or not. A lot's going to depend on whether or not Tatis has to miss significant time. Hopefully not. I do think the Padres probably end up making the playoffs if I'm looking at it right now. Padres currently are in a playoff spot, so I like where they stand. It's going to be a close race, though, for those wild card spots in the NL. The Diamondbacks are only one game out of a wild card spot. Then you got the Cubs, Reds, Pirates, 2 games out of a wild card spot. New York Mets are 1 game out of a wild card spot. It is a crazy, crazy finish that's brewing right now in the NL for those playoff spots. But I am going to say Padres making the playoffs. Let me get to a couple of Rangers comments here. Glad we came off a sweep. I always think the first game after a travel day is tough. Totally agree. Rangers were in position to win this game. I think Latz just had an off day today. He's been excellent. It happens. I don't want anybody else really in that spot other than Latz. It felt natural with Yelich coming up. Yelich was, I think, the first or second batter he faced. I think it was the first batter he faced was Yelich. Lefty. That makes a ton of sense. Latz hadn't given up a run in 8 relief appearances straight. So I agree with you. I think the travel day, and this is a really tough week for the Rangers. No off days. You got 2 more in Milwaukee. Then you got 4 in Baltimore. It's going to be a tough week for the Rangers this week, 100%. No quote of the day at this point. No quote of the day, but I'll think of one maybe and see what I can do for you guys. See if I can come up with one on the fly. Natalie, what's up? It says, comment says, Latz had a bad game. It happens. When Young comes back, Smith can take over first. It seems both Smith and Langford had an off day. I'm glad you brought this up because we're going to talk about the first base position here before the show is out. We're going to talk first base because I think you bring up an interesting scenario here. So more on that in a little bit. All right, let's go back to the box score here. Let's check things out. So Josh Smith, 2 walks. We talked about him, and this is a good segue from that comment. Josh Smith, 2 walks today, and he was hit by a pitch. So he was on base 3 times tonight. So look, the optics on that, he didn't have a bad game. He did come up in a pretty big spot with Semien and Seager on second and third. It was in the top of the 5th inning, and there was a big opportunity there for Josh Smith to add on with Semien on third, Seager on second. Seager stole second base, top of the 5th, and Josh Smith strikes out on a high fastball. Not great. So look, the timely hits just weren't there tonight for the Rangers. That would have made it a 4-0 ball game at that point. That would have been huge if Josh Smith comes through in the top of the 5th there with runners on second and third and 2 outs. Rangers today, runners left in scoring position with 2 outs. It's kind of ugly. So Nate Lowe had 2 at-bats where he did not come through with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Garcia had 1. Duran had 1. Josh Smith had 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position and 2 outs where he didn't come through. So look, Josh Smith on base 3 times tonight, but he didn't come through in the clutch moments that we needed him to. Look, Josh Smith has been so good. We're not here ragging on him, but it just wasn't the Rangers' night. For some of their best players, they just weren't coming through. We did have some good production from Semien, from Seager, from Doli. Good to see a multi-hit game from Doli. I mean, I think they put it on the broadcast. It's been 2.5 weeks since he had a multi-hit game. So Adolis Garcia, home run tonight. That was a beautiful thing to see. When Doli's power stroke gets going, look out. I don't want to say he's back, but when he hit that home run to make it 3-1, I was believing, y'all. We were about to be on a little 5-game win streak. It just wasn't meant to be tonight. But let's keep going down the line here. Nate Lowe, really tough night for Nate Lowe. You come up with the bases loaded in the top of the 7th inning, and you strike out on 3 straight pitches after, I forget what his name is, the Brewers, was it Koenig or something like that? I don't know how to pronounce his name. It doesn't matter. He totally was wild and was walking guys, and Nate Lowe comes up and strikes out on 3 straight pitches. Really unfortunate. So Nate Lowe, 2 opportunities tonight with runners in scoring position, 2 outs, not coming through. First base is a problem for the Rangers. Y'all have heard me talk about this multiple times on the show. The Rangers have a first base problem. It's a big first base bummer, really. I mean, Nate Lowe has had a couple of nice series. He had a nice series against the Royals, a really nice series against the Royals. I think he hit 500. But then back to the old ways today. And if you look at his numbers kind of across like 15, 30 games, it's not pretty. 230, hitting 230 over your last 15 games with no home runs. I don't know when the last time Nate Lowe is at a home run. I would have to go into the game log, and I'm actually going to do that right now just because I'm curious. Nate Lowe has not hit a home run since May 14th. May 14th. So we're going almost on a month and a half without Nate Lowe hitting a home run. I mean, that's just not going to work from your first base position, from your first base spot. It's not going to work. Your first base spot has to be a power threat. It doesn't have to be a guy that can hit for average, be a 300 hitter, but you have to have power from your first base position. And look, this is all I can go off of just hearing the announcers. We talked about this on the show the other day, though. Nate Lowe apparently puts on an absolute show in BP. The power is there, but the dude can just not put it together when it comes to the game. The power is not there in game situations. He hasn't hit a home run since May 14th. We're talking about 40 days without a home run, roughly. That's not going to work from your first base position. And so the point that got brought up earlier in the comments, I think is valid. Maybe you have Josh Smith start working first base. I've said, though, in the past, I don't love short first basemen. I don't think that it works a lot of the time. Like, I hate it when Zeke Duran plays first base. You want a first baseman that's tall, a big target. I don't know how good Josh Smith is at scoops, but you need a sure-handed first baseman. It is one of the hardest positions to play. So, look, Josh Smith at first base might be an option. I don't know if it's one they're seriously considering because of the nature of the position. It is not an easy position to play. I know it seems like it would be, right? You're just standing there catching the ball, and maybe you're not getting as many ground balls as the other positions, but it's one of the toughest positions. If you've never played the game, you'll have to trust me. It's one of the hardest positions to play. There's a lot of moving parts. So Zeke Duran, I think, was actually working on first base in the offseason. I don't know if Josh Smith has even done any reps at first base at all. So I don't know if that's going to be an easy fix. I do think the Rangers need to be looking in the trade market for a first baseman, a right-handed first baseman, preferably somebody that can handle left-handed pitching. I think that is the move right now. I don't think that the Rangers can continue to trot Nate Lowe out there. Yes, the glove is great. Love Nate Lowe's defense for the most part. The offense for me is not there for a first baseman. It would be different if this was another position. Wouldn't love it. The production really at any position. You're hitting 230 over your last 15 games. That's not great production. But at the same time, you can stomach it if it's from an outfielder, if it's from your second baseman. And we're blessed with an amazing second baseman in Marcus Semien. We're blessed with Semien. But you get what I mean. You can deal with a second baseman hitting 230. But your first baseman, if they're hitting 230, you're expecting them to have power numbers, home runs. Nate Lowe hasn't hit one in 40 days. And I agree. The Rangers, and I've said this multiple times, and I think that the Mets winning streak totally ruined this trade idea. But I would love to see the Rangers go get Pete Alonso. I think that they should have bitten on Pete Alonso when the Mets were at their lowest point this season. Then they went on the 7-game winning streak, which included games won against the Rangers. And now the Mets are 1 game out of a playoff spot. I don't think Pete Alonso is even going to be available. But Pete Alonso is literally the perfect player for the Rangers to go and get. First baseman, right-handed, so can face lefties. Rangers have had problems against left-handed starters. Pete Alonso can hit lefties. Pete Alonso's got power, right? He's going to drive in runs for you. Pete Alonso would be a perfect fit for the Rangers right now. I just don't know if he's going to be available because the Mets actually have a shot at making the playoffs now, thanks to the most recent win streak that they went on. But love the idea. I don't root for people to fail in life, but if the Mets did happen to go on a little skid here, I pray that the Rangers jump at Pete Alonso. The problem, don't know how willing the Rangers are to part with prospects at this point. You know that the Mets are probably going to be demanding some prospects for Pete Alonso. I can only imagine. Now, the only thing I'm kind of wondering about, I should say, is Pete Alonso's contract. Is this a contract year for him? I don't know. I actually have not looked at this yet this season, whether or not this is a contract year for Pete Alonso. So is this going to be a half-season rental? Or do we have some control over Pete Alonso? It looks like as I'm going through, I'm just looking on Spotrac right now. This is where I always look for all the contracts. It looks like he is an unrestricted free agent in 2025. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. Pete Alonso, that's a tough one. Unrestricted agent in 2025. So you're only getting Alonso for half a season. What prospects are you going to be willing to give up? I don't know. That's tough. I'm not saying don't go get him, but definitely don't trade away the entire farm for a half-season rental, especially when the Rangers, look, you guys know I'm eternal optimist. I'm eternal optimist when it comes to the Rangers. I have been very clear about what my PNR is. If the Rangers drop 10 games below 500 from this point on, I don't feel very confident that they're going to make the playoffs. Until that point, I'm feeling like they got a shot. But when the Rangers drop 10 games below at any point this season, I'm starting to think towards 2025. Doesn't mean I'm not going to root for them the rest of the season. I'm not going to get on and do lives anymore. That's not what I'm saying. But I am going to quietly start being resigned to the fact that it might not be the Rangers' year. But right now, they're in the thick of it. You're only 5 or 6 games back of a playoff spot with 80-something games left. It's going to be all right. The Rangers still have plenty of time. But we'll have to see what happens at the trade deadline. I'm very, very curious. Trade deadline still a while away, about a month and a half, about 6 weeks till the deadline. I'd like to see the Rangers go out and get a right-handed bat. I think that is the biggest need at this point. For a while, I was saying they needed a bullpen piece. I don't really think that they do. You've got a lot of guys that are going to be available in the bullpen. You've got Arena, who looks to be a guy you can throw into high leverage situations. You've got Dunning in the bullpen. Andrew Heaney is probably going to go to the bullpen. It's either going to be Heaney or Bradford in the bullpen. Do the Rangers really need to acquire a bullpen piece with all of this starting pitching that's going to be ending up in the bullpen, kind of the addition by subtraction method? I don't know. Let me go ahead and go back to some comments here. Mike Baksick was talking about Langford improvement at the end, said he doesn't want Langford to DH if Smith plays left field, and I agree. I would switch Langford and Lowe if Lowe. Okay, so I agree. I want Langford pretty much to stay in the same spot. I think at this point, with Nate Lowe struggling as he is, I would move Langford up to 5, but I don't want Langford really hitting any higher than 5. I think maybe, the highest I'd go is 4. I think 5, 6 is the sweet spot for Langford. If Doli can come around, that'd be huge. He can go ahead and stay in that 4 spot. You can have Josh Young and Josh Smith 3 and 5 interchangeably. And then you have Wyatt Langford in the 6th spot. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think that Nate Lowe needs to hit any higher than 7th moving forward. I'd probably go Jonah Heim, Nate Lowe, Leody Taveras, or whoever they've got playing in the outfield. When Carter comes back, maybe you go Carter, Lowe, Heim, or, whatever. It really doesn't make a big difference. Heim, Lowe, both not hitting great at the moment. But I think they need to keep letting Langford play the outfield. Josh Smith is not going to be a long-term outfielder. Really makes no sense to have Josh Smith take left field at bats away. Just have the guy DH. Or maybe secretly he's been doing a ton of first base work. I don't know. Maybe we can slide him into that position. That would be great. That would be phenomenal. But I don't know if it's going to happen. First base, really tough position to play. All right, more. Let me check comments here. More Rizzo. Yeah, maybe he does the 1 year, 2 year contract with the Cubs at the end. Sentimental. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now, let me keep going here. Let me take a look at the pitching here. We kind of went through and talked through most of the box score. Langford goes 1 for 4 tonight. Heim 1 for 4 with the run scored. Duran 1 for 4. So look, you had a lot of Rangers guys getting on base. Leote was 0 for 2, but he actually had a great at bat in that 5th inning, I believe. It was a 9-pitch at bat, worked the walk. So Leote, look, he's put together some nice games over the past week. Had the big home run, about a week ago now? He's put together some nice at bats. Can he keep it going? Can he be consistent? I don't know. The history would tell us probably not, but let's enjoy these next couple of weeks where Leote is going to give us hope that he can be a legitimate contributor. And then let's cautiously prepare ourselves for the drop-off where Leote hits 100 for 2 or 3 weeks straight. That is how it goes with Leote and how it's always gone in his career. Please prove me wrong, Leo. Please prove me wrong. But right now, we're in a good stretch of games with Leote Taveras. Until Evan Carter comes back, I'm here for it. If Leote can give us these kinds of games until Evan Carter gets healthy, perfect. We will take getting on base twice from our 9-hole hitter all day long. All day long. Runners in scoring position numbers actually weren't terrible, 2 for 7. The problem is there were so many runners on base that were left that this number, 2 for 7, doesn't seem like horrible. It actually was pretty bad because there were 10 runners left on base tonight for the Rangers. This is a game they could have won. You always hate to lose these types. This isn't like a 10-0 blowout. This is a game the Rangers legitimately could have taken. It's too bad, but you got to move on to tomorrow, and that's what we're going to do here in a second. We talked about Latz. Wasn't his night. 2 walks, 2 hits allowed, and did not record an out. You hate to see something like this happen to a guy that's been pitching so well. I really hope it doesn't ruin the confidence moving forward. He was such a dependable guy coming out of the pen, got a lot of outs for us. I hope that this isn't a moment that turns his season in a bad direction. You just don't know with these young guys. I have no idea. Jacob Latz, I don't think, has a big enough track record for us to really be able to tell. But with these young guys in the bullpen after these really bad outings, it can be a crossroads moment. How are they going to respond the next time out? Is it going to be a wiped clean slate, or is this going to be the start of a spiral? Obviously, I hope it's the former. I hope he bounces back. I'm sure they're going to give him another opportunity, perhaps not in quite as high leverage situation as tonight, but we'll see. We'll see how Latz responds. I'm going to be curious to see how his next outing looks and how he bounces back. And I hope that he does bounce back. Knock on wood. Jonathan Hernandez. He goes 2 2/3, kind of an innings eater role tonight. 3 walks. Never love to see that from Hernandez. Look, he did a nice job getting the Rangers some length in the bullpen. This is a tough week for the Rangers to be wasting bullpen arms. So Latz, Hernandez, Leclerc got 1 out tonight. So not terrible. Hernandez did a nice job eating up a lot of outs. So I'm not going to get on him too much. The role for him tonight was keep the game relatively close, and he did. And hey, be a guy that can give us some length because we got 6 more games this week. Rangers have no off days this week. You have got to save that bullpen and take care of it. So look, not going to get on Hernandez. The walks, the 3 walks that he gives up, not ideal, but he limited the damage. We'll take it. And then, like I said, Leclerc 1 walk tonight, but is able to getting out of that inning. and it gave the Rangers offense a chance. We had a chance. Nate Lowe, bases loaded, 7th inning, 3 straight pitches, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Rangers cannot win games where they have 5 missed opportunities with runners in scoring position and 2 outs and don't come through. You're not going to win a lot of ball games that way, especially that bases loaded moment for Nate Lowe. You're just dying for the ball to be put in play. I mean, look, I know that we need a hit there, a ball in the gap, home run would have been epic. Can you just put the ball in play? You never know what's going to happen when you just put the ball in play. And I know that sounds little league, but it's so true. These major league players, they make errors. They misjudge fly balls. You never know what could happen if you just put the ball in play. Nate Lowe, it was ugly in that 7th inning at bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Got to flush this one, y'all. Got to flush it. Let's go to comments. We'll just go back and forth, and then we'll start looking at the game tomorrow, and we'll do our AL West roundup, and then we'll get out of here. Looking forward to hopefully a better game on Tuesday. This comment says, I'd pick Langford to be more consistent than Taveras. Agreed. I think they just want to get Smith reps and keep him in the lineup, but you think he'll mostly DH after Young comes back fully healthy? I would say, yeah, excuse me. I totally think that Josh Young is going to play third base, and I think that Josh Smith is going to do a lot of DHing. I don't think that they're going to mess around with it too much. I think Josh Smith becomes your DH. Josh Smith is not a better defender than Josh Young, so I think that is absolutely the play. You put Josh Smith at DH. Langford's a better outfielder than Josh Smith. It would make little to no sense if they're giving Josh Smith left field reps. He's not a left fielder. He's an infielder by trade. I think what you're going to see is Josh Smith is going to spell Josh Young at third base. You know, maybe they'll do like a 2-3. Josh Young will DH a little bit, I'm sure. You know, and then if Corey Seager needs a day where he just hits, I'm sure Josh Smith will be playing some shortstop. So Josh Smith is going to turn into super utility guy. He'll be playing all over the place. I doubt he's going to be playing first base, although it's an interesting concept. First base is just too tough of a position unless you've had a whole offseason to do it or you're just desperate for a first baseman. I don't think the Rangers are there yet, but no, I don't foresee Langford getting reps taken away from him in the outfield. They just unlocked him, right? You just unlocked Langford. There's little to no reason to mess with anything you're doing with Wyatt Langford right now. Keep hitting him 6th. Keep hitting him in left field. The only thing I would tweak is stop hitting Nate Lowe above Wyatt Langford. Can we all agree on that? Can we all just come together on that concept? Stop hitting Nate Lowe above Wyatt Langford. It doesn't make any sense. Nate Lowe needs to be one of the last 3 hitters in your lineup with how bad he has been. I know he had a nice series against the Royals. I love Nate Lowe, great clubhouse guy. I know that I'm being hard right now on him, but Nate Lowe hasn't hit a home run since May 14th. You're our first baseman. We need power. You hit a prodigious display of home runs in batting practice. We need it in the games, buddy. I like Nate Lowe a lot, but I just need to see more from him. What's up, Gio? Go Rangers for sure. Go Rangers. Rain or shine. We're here, baby. I do think there's something to be said about this. The only other thing I can say, and I didn't bring this up earlier in the show, is maybe instead of going to Latz, the comment, by the way, is Latz needed a clean inning. I thought that myself. I thought, this is tough. You're asking Latz to come in and face Christian Yelich, a former MVP, with a guy on. I almost think maybe you go Lorenzen in that spot and you just let him ride it out. I know what they were thinking, though. They're thinking he hasn't given up a run in 8 relief appearances. Let's just go with Latz, lefty on lefty with Yelich. I don't fault Bochy or Maddox. Some people online were bashing the decision like it's just a terrible, what are you thinking, manager moment. I don't think that at all. You want your lefty going against Yelich, a lefty in Latz that hadn't given up a run in his last 8 outings. But I did have that thought. Latz clean inning would have been nice. Or maybe you let Lorenzen face Yelich, see what happens. But then you're Latz coming in with maybe 2 runners on. So I think the idea was there's only one guy on. We have a 2-run lead, and we don't want to get Latz into a situation where you've got first and third, no outs, or where you've got first and second, no outs, and then Latz is really coming into a mess. But I did have that same thought to myself. I did not see that the comment says here, Bochy said in an interview that Smith would play outfield, but I bet he won't play much of it. Yeah, I could see it if they're desperate. If you're really desperate for an outfield start, sure, Josh Smith did play some left field, I think, last year, if I'm not mistaken. I'll try and do a quick lookup on that on Baseball Ref, but I'm pretty sure Josh Smith did play some outfield for us last year. I don't know how many games, so we'll have to see on that one. Not 100%, but I do believe that he at least got a handful of games in left field for us last year. I'll just have to see if I can figure it out. Not going to be like super easy to find off the just on the fly here, but I'll try and look for it. Anyways, let's keep on moving. Let's look at the matchup for tomorrow, shall we? Flush this one out. I've said that a few times, but I just got to keep affirming that. Just don't stew on this one. We should have won this game. I really do feel that. And it just wasn't meant to be tonight. So let's look at tomorrow. Tomorrow, starting pitchers. I think the Rangers have a fortuitous matchup. Wilson has pretty close to a 6 ERA in his last 7 games. I think Wilson is a guy the Rangers can hit. Andrew Heaney is pitching for the Rangers. Let's look at the career numbers that each lineup has against each pitcher. So Adames has faced Heaney 15 times in his career, 2 homers, 467 batting average. So Willy Adames is a guy that they're going to be circling tomorrow in the lineup to be careful with. We've got pretty much small to no at-bats from the rest of the lineup. Christian Yelich is 3 for 9 against Heaney. Sanchez, the catcher, is 2 for 9 with a home run. Contreras is 1 for 2. It's not a huge sample size. Bowers, the first baseman, is 1 for 3. On the flip side, it's kind of the same thing. Marcus Semien is 2 for 4 off of Wilson. We've also got, looks like, Duran 1 for 1. Robbie Grossman, who probably isn't going to play tomorrow, is 2 for 5. And it looks like we've got Seager has walked 0 for 0 with the walk, and Tavares is 0 for 1. So look, it's not a huge sample size, but I do think the stat to focus on with Wilson, he's close to a 6 ERA in his last 7 games. So with Wilson, you have a guy that hasn't been good of late. Hopefully the Rangers can jump on him early. It would be nice tomorrow to get some length out of Andrew Heaney, 6 or 7 innings. You didn't have to use a ton of guys tonight, but again, as many quality outings as the starters can give us, we'll take this week. If Heaney can go 6 or 7, man, that would take a lot of stress off the bullpen. And hopefully we can get him a lead and he can pitch 7 innings, go 2, 3 earned runs, and have a 5-6 run cushion. And then we can hand it off to somebody not high leverage, and we can continue to save Robertson and Yates for later on in the week when we'll probably need it against the Orioles. 100%. So that's the plan for tomorrow, y'all. That's the blueprint. Give Andrew Heaney a big lead. Andrew Heaney, give us 7 strong innings, and we'll call it a day. Get back in the win column. Let's check out the AL West. So right now, the Angels and A's are beating up on each other, but the Angels are in the lead in the top of the 8th inning in Anaheim. Angels lead that one 5-1. Mariners did lose to the Tampa Bay Rays. Tough one for the Mariners. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it did bring a smile to my face after the grand slam was hit, checking the Mariners score and watching the Rays score 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning to win that game 4-3. Tough loss for the Mariners. Fortunate for the Rangers. They don't lose any ground in the division. Beyond that, I don't think that the Astros played today. I think they were idle today. So Astros gain a game or a half game on the Rangers just by nature of not playing and the Rangers losing. So the Astros now a full game up on the Rangers for second place. Rangers are in third place. Back the Astros 1 game. So that's the AL West roundup for you. And now we'll check comments one final time. Then we'll look at some headlines around MLB, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Yeah, I hope that the Rangers can score early tomorrow. Just take the pressure off Heaney. Andrew Heaney's been really good of late, but let's just take the pressure off him. Let's put up a 2 or 3 spot in the first or second inning, and let's just cruise tomorrow. Right? Wilson has not been good of late. The ERA, I'm going to look at it right now for y'all. The ERA for Wilson is not good in his last 7. I looked this up before the series started, but I'm going to give you the exact line here on Brian Wilson in his last 7 games. Last 7 games, 5.82 ERA. And in his last start against San Diego, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 walks, 9 base runners, and 4 2/3 innings, 5 earned runs. So Brian Wilson is coming off a bad start. This has early hot start for the Rangers bats written all over it. Jump on this guy early and then give Andrew Heaney some cushion to coast. Take some pressure off the bullpen, and let's go into Wednesday with an opportunity to win a series. That's the plan. Let's go ahead and let's check out MLB headlines here, and then we're going to wrap up here. So front page, Giants wearing number 24 to honor Willie Mays. Very cool. All the Giants players tonight wearing number 24 for the Say Hey Kid. Willie Mays passing away late last week. Rest in peace, Willie Mays. One of the best players, one of the legends of the game of baseball. Very cool tribute that the Giants are doing for Willie Mays. Phillies turn a 1-3-5 triple play, 95 years in the making. This is a pretty crazy play. Y'all are going to have to watch this. I watched it really quick on replay while I was out in dinner time. I'm going to have to watch it again. So pitcher to first base to third base. Okay, I'm going to have to watch this one. Phillies turn a 1-3-5 triple play, 95 years in the making. How about that? Here's another replay for y'all to watch. I really wish, and my internet connection, just being totally real with y'all, can't handle this, but I really wish I could get replay on my live streams without it being like grainy and laggy. I need to look into this because I'd really love to show these up on my screen. So there was a dude who caught barehanded a 108.5 mile an hour foul ball. Where was this? It looks like this was in Baltimore at Camden Yards. 108.5 mile an hour foul ball off the bat, barehanded catch by a fan. That's pretty sweet considering all the time you see fans drop baseballs who brought gloves to the game. Have y'all seen that? I shake my head every time, and I know it happens. It happens. It's not like all of us are playing catch in the backyard unless you got kids that are into baseball. You're not playing a ton of catch with the glove. But I see guys drop foul balls and home run balls with gloves on. This dude catches a foul ball that's 108.5 off the bat. You got to be kidding me. Impressive. And I'm just watching the replay right now. So y'all got to check these 2 replays out. We got 95 years in the making, 1-3-5 triple play, and we've got a fan catching a barehanded foul ball that was 108.5 mile an hour off the bat. Man, there's a lot of good replays today Just go to MLB and check out all the replays. There are some crazy good ones right now. Crazy good ones. Don't think there's a whole lot else. Some all-star news here and there. Vote Josh Smith. Vote all the Rangers. Can we get Marcus Semien ahead of Jose Altuve? Please. Y'all Rangers fans, and even if you're not a Rangers fan, I know there's not a lot of Astros fans right now on the live stream or watching on the replay. I know there's not a lot of people that love the Astros who are tuning into this. Could we all band together and get Marcus Semien ahead of Jose Altuve in the All-Star voting? Please. I'm voting like crazy for Semien. I want to see him get the start. Home stadium. Come on now. We have got to get that guy over Jose Altuve. Have to. 100%. Let me look at the stats, by the way. Let me compare Jose Altuve and Marcus Semien in the years that they're having just for fun. Maybe Altuve genuinely deserves it more. I'm not going to admit that easily, but let's just see if we can figure this out. How Jose Altuve is doing. Shoot. I don't know if my computer is going to cooperate with me here. Nope, it's not. Let me go ahead and do one other thing here. Altuve stats, and then I'll do Semien stats in another one. So he's 299. Sure enough, 12 homers and 33 RBIs. So that's Altuve. 299, 12 homers, 33 RBIs. Semien, his stats for the year, I know he's not hitting 299. 252, 11 homers, 43 RBI. So Semien does lead Altuve in RBI. He leads him in RBI. Everything else, not so much. I still think there's an argument for Semien based on those numbers. The 13 more RBI that he has. I think Semien plays a better second base than Altuve does. I think the glove's better. We got to get Semien starting over Jose Altuve. Band together, y'all. Come on now. 5 votes a day. I love it. 5 votes a day. I think I'm at number 3 or 4. I did 3 or 4 on my phone. I'm going to keep on voting. See if I can create another email address and vote 5 more times again. Do whatever I have to do. Turn on the VPN. I don't know. Do whatever I need to do to get Marcus Semien ahead of Jose Altuve so he can start in his home ballpark. Man, that's going to be fun. Let's make it happen. Well, all right, y'all. It was fun hanging out. Wish it could have been under better circumstances with the Rangers win. Maybe they're just saving up all the wins for later on this week, starting tomorrow, of course. But the Rangers looking for a bounce back. Andrew Heaney on the mound. Hopefully we can get some runs early. Call it a day. Rest the bullpen. Thoughts on Paul Skeens? I'll do one more comment real quick. Great pitcher. One of the best already in the major leagues. Paul Skeens. I saw him pitch in person about 2 weeks ago, and he is the real deal. Paul Skeens is the real deal. 100 miles an hour every pitch unless he's throwing off speed. So he goes 100 with the fastball, 70s with the off speed. I don't know how guys hit him. I mean, obviously, these are the best pitchers in the major leagues, but I think Paul Skeens is one of the best pitchers already in baseball. They were actually doing a breakdown, and the Pirates, I think, won like his first 5 or 6 starts. They lost his most recent start, and it was like a 3-1 game, so Paul Skeens still pitched great. The Pirates just gave him 0 run support. But Paul Skeens, the Pirates have won pretty much every game that he has started. I don't know if his record reflects that, but they've gone on to win almost every game that Paul Skeens has started. It was so awesome seeing him pitch live in person. I went to a game in St. Louis. Skeens started against the Cardinals and was perfect. Skeens in that game that I saw 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium, he was perfect through 5 innings. Dude is the real deal. You're absolutely very welcome, by the way. And I want to say this, I haven't asked y'all yet, but hey, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed or not following the account or the channel, please do so. I'd greatly appreciate the support. That way you can keep up with every time we go live and keep up with all the latest and greatest content we put out. Our system, betting 1 cent on Texas Rangers money line for every follower, took a little bit of a hit tonight. Man, this would have been a nice payday. The Rangers were about 1.5 underdogs. So basically like bet 100, get 150 back to you. So that would have been a $250 collect on a $100 bet. Would have been nice. Wasn't meant to be. But we're back tomorrow. It's a long season. A lot of time for the Rangers to get me back in the positive. Hey, if you know a baseball fan or a Rangers fan, somebody that just loves the game, loves the team, share this video with them. Share the account with them. Let's keep growing this little community, this little group we've got going here, talking baseball, talking Rangers baseball. It's why I started this in the first place, getting good people together, talking about one of, if not in my opinion, the best sport that there is. I appreciate y'all's support. And I want to say thank you again for all those watching live and for watching on the replay. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday night. Sorry, summertime brain, y'all. Monday night. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow after a Rangers win, if not on the replay or later on this week. And as I always say to end every show, God bless. Go Rangers. We'll see y'all soon.